Thank you for watching this Last Mile Profits video.
Can parcel lockers play a major role in recycling of items that we use? Keep watching to find out how.
Last Mile Profits is brought to you by Parcel Pending by Quadient.
Gary, I was really impressed with something that InPost has been doing recently because, as you know, I'm into all this sort of green stuff and I hate things being wasted or even worse, going into landfill. And apparently, I haven't tested it yet, but our editor, Gregor, has, and he said it worked really well. And I'll just explain how it works. So you have an old item of clothing, whatever clothing you might have at the time.
Well, hopefully that shirt will be heading in that direction fairly soon, Marek, but carry on.
No, this is a nice new shiny, well, slightly stained shirt.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get a box, you fold it up nicely, so the clothes, tape it up, put a code, chuck it in the locker, and apparently, Gregor will confirm if I got this right, but I think you even get information that it's gone to the company that takes these recycled clothes. Wow.
I think it's a great idea. I'm into all of this as well if I can do it, but I really want to make no effort whatsoever. So any kind of work I have to do to be green reduces the chances of me doing it, unfortunately. So if you said I had to drive, well, to do a similar thing in the UK, I've got to find a charity shop or I've got to go to the local council-run recycling centre. The one nearest to me is a 15-minute drive away. So it's not particularly green to drive there and go and do something environmentally friendly if I've had to drive there. So I try to do one big visit as infrequently as possible. But if you can reduce the personal resistance to doing it by making it simple and convenient, I'm far more likely to participate in these schemes.
Absolutely. So if you've got a slipper distance locker, and apparently it's not just clothes, it's electronic items. And I think I love the idea. My one concern, I don't know if you have these Red Cross boxes in the UK, you have them in Poland. And my concern is that people will misuse it and really put rubbish in there, which will be a bit of a shame. Although I guess if someone's gone to the effort of packing something up and putting it in a parcel locker, the chances are that they actually care about what's happening.
Yeah, I think, we have the same thing. We have these kind of drop boxes, sometimes outside. There's one outside the co-op near where I live. It's always jam full of stuff. One person's rubbish is another man's treasure. So I can't comment on what's being put in there, but it is in the same sort of distance from my house as the nearest locker is, but it's not always available and it's always rammed with stuff. And I don't know how frequently it's emptied. But this sounds a bit more efficient. You make up a box of stuff, you announce that you're going to put it in the locker, it arrives in the locker, and obviously InPost are going to want to get that compartment emptied and made available for another use as quickly as possible. It's going to get moved a bit more quickly. So I imagine it's going to be a little bit more frequent in its rotation and have a bit more science about it.
I'd have thought, though, Gary, that our friends in the Nordics, because they're the champions of everything green, would have come up with this. So Poland, which is not historically known as the most ecologically, I would say, savvy market, I'm quite impressed that it's come from Poland. You've not seen anything like that in the UK?
No, I haven't. Not through the locker networks as they are at the moment, no. I mean, obviously, it does beg the question what the economics of this are. Is this a charitable endeavour? Is there a chance of your local locker being absolutely full of boxes of second-hand clothes and broken TVs and iPods from God knows when? So again, if it does get abused, but from the way Gregor described it before we were recording, it does mean that you've got to get a bit of an effort. You've got to get a code. You've got to stick, it's not just throw it in at the end of the road like these, sort of Salvation Army or British Heart Foundation boxes are. So there's a little bit more effort and selectivity required. So hopefully it works okay. But again, who's picking up the cost? Maybe it is charity.
I think again, I don't know. It'd be really interesting if anyone from InPost who knows how it works or partners of InPost could share with us how the model works. My personal feeling is either there's going to be some kind of government subsidy, because already we're getting machines where you can drop off plastic, which I'm really pleased with because I'm sick of seeing plastic bottles thrown everywhere. And now, even if it's just a couple of cents, it's great. And maybe there's some government subsidy. Maybe the company that gets the used clothes and then sells some of them on pays for part of the cost. Whatever happens, I love the idea. And perhaps our viewers have got other examples of something similar. And as I said earlier, perhaps someone can share a little bit more about how this one works.
But hey, at least those plastic bottles have still got the lids on them, Marek, because of that fantastic EU invention The Americans came up with the Artemis 2 rocket and the space shuttle, and the EU has come up with a way of keeping a plastic lid attached to a bottle so it spreads orange juice on the side of your face while you're having a drink out the top of the bottle. It's brilliant.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. This is one for another day. But as you know, I've just come back from Vietnam, where there's absolutely nothing like that, and amazing country. But I don't. Did you see the film Blade Runner, the first one?
I think so. Back in the day, yeah.
So it made me feel like I was Harrison Ford, or Deckard, I think he was called.
He's still got his hair, to be honest with you. So I'm not seeing the. So I thought I saw you in the paper the other day that you've been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the States, but it turned out it was just a picture of Phil Collins, and that it was him they've chosen over you again. I couldn't believe it.
Well, a slightly less hirsute version of Harrison Ford, moi, and the smog was just incredible. So, I wouldn't knock all of the stuff that the EU do. And finally, because I have to say this, if anyone asks, after all the sort of comments from Gary, this was not bought in a second-hand shop. It is not a 1970s or 80s or whenever you had psychedelic shirt. It is a very nice new, slightly stained, I'm afraid, shirt. Gary?
Coming to a second-hand shop near you soon.
Gary, I was looking at the subscriptions and realized that a huge number of our audience actually don't subscribe to watch our videos.
Really? That's outrageous. It's a bit like watching the BBC without your TV license. How can we keep it free if people aren't subscribing and letting us know they want more of this content? It's ridiculous.
And on top of that, if they're not subscribed, they don't get information about the latest hot episode where you can make one of your witty jokes and we can talk about something that is really important for our industry.
If I knew that a single act like that would make sure I got maximum time taking the mickey out of you, I'd be hitting subscribe in a heartbeat.
Well, look, so here we have it. Please, everyone, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your opportunity. Click right now. The button should be there, or maybe there. Do it now and have it done.